What is up, guys? It is the Sound Alchemist, and welcome back to another 40 Facts video. Today we are diving into yet another awesome weapon of the Warhammer world, and this is none other than the Spear of Twilight. So I've been kind of focusing on the swords of 40k for a while. I talked about Abaddon's Draconian, followed by the Black Blade of Antweir, and then we talked about the Blade of Farsight, the Dawnblade. And talking about the Dawnblade, I kind of got into a little bit of speculation as to what the last Crone sword might be, whether that be Farsight's Dawnblade or something else. And a few of you guys in the comments below wanted to know a little bit more about the Eldar weapons, more importantly, the Crone swords. So, let's get a little bit into what a Crone sword is, and then we'll be talking about the Spear of Twilight, which actually is a Crone sword. So without further ado, guys, let's dive into this 40 Facts video. So basically, the Crone swords are ancient relics of the Eldar, or the Eldari as they're now known. And they're basically weapons that were made to revive an Eldar god, Ennead. Now, if you don't know who Ennead is, we do have a 40 Facts on him. I think he's in the playlist of the Gods of 40k. However, give you a quick rundown on who Ennead is. He's basically the last hope of the Eldar. He is a god that supposedly will rise up and kill Slaanesh, and thus freeing all the Eldar souls that are in Slaanesh's belly. So with the death of Slaanesh, the Eldar will once again become a great power due to the god of the dead, Ennead. However, we're not talking about Ennead so much in this episode. Again, if you want more lore on him, check him out on our 40 Facts. This is mostly about the Crone swords. So, back to it. So like I said, the Crone swords are ancient relics of the Eldar that are actually 5 swords according to legend, that they were carved from the very own fingers of the god of the Eldar, Morai Heg. And it is known that this goddess, Morai Heg, is the goddess of souls and fate. And she lost her hand basically when she was trying to gain more knowledge, and the only way to do that was to drink her blood. I believe it was Kayla Mensha Kane who chopped off her hand, and thus that's how she got more knowledge, and the hand that got severed, the 5 fingers became the Crone swords. Or so the legend states. Now this next part is a little bit conflicted, because one legend states that when all these 5 swords are in the possession of their one true wielder, they will be able to pretty much allow death and life to be swayed by their own will, which is a freaking big deal, because if you can control life and death, I mean, what's gonna stop you? However, the other side of this, other Eldar believe that once you have all the 5 Crone swords, this is what's going to give you guys enough power to awaken the god. Whether it's Morai Heg, Yvraine, or not Yvraine, Ennead, it's going to awaken a powerful Eldar god. So, because of this, they, by the Eldar, have been trying to collect all 5 swords, and currently they have 4, which it's literally right around the corner. And that's why I was saying that maybe the next big thing with the Eldar is the reveal of this last sword. So, these are the swords that have been revealed so far, and it is the Crone sword Kavir, which is wielded by Yvraine. The Vizarch has the other Crone sword, Asuvar. The Incarn, which is the avatar of Ennead, has Vilithzar, and then we have Yariel, Prince Yariel, with the Spear of Twilight. Yeah, it's not a sword, it's a spear, but I guess they wanted to include a character from the lore from, back in the day into the new lore nowadays, which is pretty cool. Now, each individual sword has its own power that it basically can muster up and manifest to attack the enemies. However, I'll be going into those swords at a later date. Today, we're focusing on the Spear of Twilight, aka the Cursed Blade of the House of Orthanesh. Now this weapon is said to be so powerful, yet such a detriment to the wielder, that it is kept in a stasis field within the shrine of Orthanesh on the idolatry craft world of Yandin. It is an ancient weapon that happens to be so powerful that inside of the blade it has the power of a dying sun. And this power is so strong that eventually it will burn the soul of itself, of the wielder. However, this has been wielded by Prince Yariel, the Autarch and outcast of Iyanden, and it was first used against none other than the Tyranids. Now, since we're talking about the spear, we kind of have to talk about Prince Yariel. So Prince Yariel, as I've said before, was an Autarch. However, some circumstances happened and he was cast aside. He was an outcast. He was shunned by the craft world inhabitants of Iyanden. I believe we have a 40 facts on him. If we do, I'll link it at the end of this video. However, it was the Harlequin Shadowseer Salandri Veilwalker who basically kind of nudged him, pushed him in the direction of wielding this cursed blade. Now, the way that this weapon works is that it slowly sucks away the life energy of the wielder, making that blade that much more powerful. I mean, you've already got the power of a dying sun. I don't know why you need to be stealing freaking souls to empower it even more, but that just goes to show you just how strong this weapon is. It is so powerful that it works similar to that of a singing spear. However, it's like on a whole different level. The amount of lives that this thing has taken is insurmountable. It literally was the changing of the tides during the war against High Fleet Kraken, and that's pretty much what saved the Eldar against these Tyranid invaders. Now, when we start talking about the Gathering Storm books, and when we look deeper into the codices of the Eldar, we learn that Yvraine, the leader of the Inari, was actually a prophet for Ennead. She was the one that was riling up her Eldar, Dark Eldar, Harlequin brothers and sisters towards the goal of reviving their god of dead, the Ennead. So because of this, she was going towards the craft world, onto which where Yariel was. And because of this, she knew that the legendary sword was actually in the form of a spear. So the Spear of Twilight was in a state that couldn't be used to harness its full power. Hence its spear eventually got transformed into a sword, and they ended up resurrecting Yariel by plunging it into his chest. And this is what basically allowed this weapon to become into its full form, a sword, thus being one of the 5 Crone Swords. And with that being said, that's pretty much all there is to it on the Spear of Twilight. I know it's not much, but it's something, and it's kind of older lore, which some of it has been retconned, so it's a little wishy-washy as to what it actually is. That's why some accounts say that the Spear of Twilight is a Witchblade, and then in the newer stuff, they're like, nah, it's the Crone Sword, which is pretty cool. I actually like that little switch. So let me know what you guys think. Do you prefer your old lore to stand true, or do you want it to be more prevalent to the storyline now in 40K? And yeah, also let's keep the theories coming as to what the final Crone Sword is, and also stay subscribed because I will be covering the other 3 Crone Swords. Yeah, a lot of Crone Sword action coming up in this channel soon. Also, let me know what other topics you want us to talk about. Do you want more lore on characters? Do you want to talk more about weaponry? Do you want some theories and whatnot? Just let us know in the comments down below. And yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. As always, hit up that thumbs up button and let me know in the comments what you guys want next. This has been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Holy